What if everything you have been told about startup success is wrong? What if the most valuable companies in the world didn't succeed because they had a brilliant plan from day one, but because they were willing to abandon that plan entirely? In February 2005, three former PayPal employees registered a domain name. Their idea was simple: create a video-based dating site where singles could upload clips of themselves talking about what they were looking for in a partner. They called it Tune In Hookup. It was going to be the next big thing in online romance. Except nobody used it. Not a single person uploaded a dating video. The launch was a disaster. The site sat there, empty, while its three founders, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim, stared at their screens wondering where they had gone wrong. But here is where it gets interesting. The founders noticed something. Even though nobody was using the site for dating, people were still trying to upload videos. Friends uploading clips of a party. Someone trying to share a funny moment they caught on camera. The founders realized that what people actually wanted was a simple way to share any video with anyone. So they scrapped the dating concept entirely, stripped out everything except the core upload mechanic, renamed the product, and launched a general video sharing platform in May 2005. 18 months later, Google bought YouTube for $1.65 billion. The failed dating site had become the second most visited website in the world. In 2005, a small startup called Odeo was trying to build the future of podcasting. The company had raised money, hired engineers, and was quietly building a podcast directory, the kind of place you would go to discover audio shows. Then Apple announced iTunes would include a podcast section. Overnight, Odeo's entire business model became obsolete. Apple had just eaten their lunch before they had even sat down at the table. The company was on life support. The founders gathered the team and said something unusual. Forget what we were building. Come up with something completely new. During that internal hackathon, a young engineer named Jack Dorsey pitched a wild idea. What if you could send a text message to the entire world at once? Not to one friend, not to a group, to everyone, simultaneously. The team built a prototype in 2 weeks. They called it 2TR, no vowels. The concept was so simple it seemed almost stupid. You had 140 characters, and you would use them to answer one question. What are you doing right now? That tiny, simple idea became Twitter, a platform that would one day host the conversations of 260 million daily active users, including presidents, billionaires, and world leaders. All of it born from the ashes of a company that was about to fail. Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger were not trying to build a photo app. They were building Bourbon, a location check-in app loaded with features. You could check into places, make plans with friends, earn points for hanging out with people in the real world. It was ambitious. It was complex. And users hated it. The interface was confusing. Nobody knew what the app was really for. But here is what saved them. Systrom and Krieger looked carefully at their data, and they noticed one thing people actually loved: the photo feature. Among all the clutter and confusion, users kept coming back to take and share photos. So the founders did something radical. They deleted everything else. Every feature except photos and filters. They rebuilt the entire app in 8 weeks. Just one thing: beautiful photos, beautifully shared. Instagram launched in October 2010. It hit 1 million users in 2 months. And in April 2012, 18 months after launch, Facebook acquired Instagram for $1 billion. The most powerful pivot in Silicon Valley history was a decision to remove features, not add them. Stuart Butterfield had already built and sold one company, Flickr, the photo-sharing platform, to Yahoo for $35 million. His next venture was going to be even bigger. He was building a massively multiplayer online game called Glitch. a quirky, collaborative world where players could do things like squeeze juice from butterflies and tend giant crops. Butterfield raised over $17 million in funding. He assembled a passionate team. And in 2012, after years of development, he shut Glitch down. The game had failed to attract enough players to survive. But during the development of Glitch, something unexpected had happened. His team had built an internal communication tool to coordinate across different time zones and departments. A simple, searchable, organized chat system that replaced the chaos of email. The team loved it. When Glitch died, Butterfield looked at that internal tool and saw something his investors had missed entirely. He pivoted. He took that internal chat system, refined it, and launched it as a standalone product in August 2013. He called it Slack. Within 24 hours of launch, 8,000 companies signed up. Slack grew faster than any enterprise software company in history. In 2021, Salesforce acquired Slack for $27.7 billion. A failed video game had quietly built one of the most valuable communication tools on Earth. So what do YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Slack all have in common? They were not built on brilliant ideas. They were built on the willingness to listen. Each company had a failed product, a dead-end concept, or a sinking ship. But in that failure, the founders did something most people are too proud to do. They looked closely at what users were actually doing, not what they had been told to do, not what the founders hoped they would do, but what they naturally gravitated toward. And then they had the courage to follow that signal, even when it meant throwing away years of work. The best startup founders are not the ones with the most original ideas. They are the ones with the sharpest eyes, the ones who can see gold in the wreckage. Because failure is not the end of the story. For the greatest companies ever built, failure was just the beginning. If this changed how you think about building a business, subscribe to Founder Fuel for more stories like this. Every week, we go deep on the real lessons behind the world's most successful companies. Hit subscribe. We will see you.